Hi, Langlet enthusiasts. It's Brad Philpott here from Philpott Education, and I've got a few tips for you today on how to organize your individual oral more effectively. If you think about it, the individual oral is a pretty complicated thing, but losing marks on Criterion C isn't really necessary because you can plan and rehearse all you want outside of class, and you can create a really nice outline of 10 bullet points, which fits in one box on one A4 on a form that the IB gives you. So what should these bullet points look like? How should you organize it? And how can you ensure that your structure is very coherent and balanced? Let's start with the four main parts. As you know, we've got an extract from a literary work. So let's say we're dealing with a passage from a play. And then you've got the entire literary work. Let's say in this case, we're dealing with Othello by Shakespeare. You've got an extract from a non-lit work. Let's say it's like a photograph, and then the rest of the non-literary work. So let's say you've got a collection of photographs by the same photographer. For example, Gordon Parks. I'm thinking about an example I've got on the support site, which is really interesting to listen to, and I think illustrates very nicely what I'm talking about here. The most important thing to remember is, of course, the global issue that ties all of these parts together. If you're not sure what a global issue means, we're talking about a universal, significant theme of sorts, and I like to think of it best as a causal relationship, which has a bit of a formula, like how X leads to Y. So, for example, in this case of Gordon Parks in Othello, and this is the example the student uses, how racism leads to a low sense of self-worth. Again, there we've identified a causal relationship. The prompt for the IO, the individual oral as given by the IB in the guide, says that students should talk for 10 minutes about how two authors have presented this common global issue in both an extract from their literary work and or their work and the rest of the work from which it's taken. If you have to speak for 10 minutes and you're given 10 bullet points, I think you can figure out it's pretty easy math. After a 1-minute introduction and a 1-minute conclusion, you've got about 2 minutes for these parts, or 2 big bullet points per part of this oral. As you can see, I've divided it up 4 ways here. This method that I'm showing you here, and as you can see, you can assign different authorial choices to each bullet point. It's what I call method 2 on my support site, and it's probably by far the most popular method out there. There are different variations of it. I call it the part by whole method. It does seem to be the kind of the cleanest, easiest way of moving through the individual oral. There are, of course, other ways of organizing your oral. One of my favorite ways is what I call feature by feature, or on my support site, I call this method 1. And it's where you essentially go from feature to feature to say how each authorial choice in the extract is indicative of, say, how the author treats the global issue elsewhere, outside the passage, outside the extract, in the rest of the non-literary or literary body of work. This method, what I call method 1, does require a little more signposting. That's where you use phrases such as in the extract or outside the extract in order to guide the listener, in this case your teacher or the moderator. And while this method I find is more challenging, I've always found it more interesting to listen to, and I think moderators do too. It's also a little more interesting, I find. So if you like method 1, method 2, feature by feature, or part by whole, I really invite you to hop on the support site and check out some of these Google Docs that we have available. You can make a copy of those and start to build your oral yourself. You just click on the link below and you'll find your way, I'm sure. So thanks for listening. I hope this has helped you organize your IO, and best of luck on those exams. See ya.